Hi, friends. AI is super cool, but sorry, it's not perfect. And we're still learning about some of the problems and dangers it can have. That's why it's so important to explore AI with a parent, teacher, or guardian to keep things safe. AI is amazing, but your safety always comes first. Ready to dive in together? Let's go.
Welcome to the AI for Kids podcast, the podcast for moms, aunties, and teachers who want the kids they love to understand AI without more screen time. We keep it simple, safe, and fun, no tech degree required. Each episode breaks down AI ideas and includes activities to help kids use AI in ways that keep them curious and creative. No pressure, no overwhelm, no extra screens. Just clear, engaging learning you can feel good about. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to AI for Kids. Today's guest built a robot tutor. I know, right? Yep, an actual animated AI that talks with kids. His name is Ivan Crewkov, and his creation, Buddy AI, is being used by millions of kids around the world. Ivan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Amber. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to get into this. And I want to start with a warm-up question. If you could teach Buddy AI one new trick, like telling dad jokes or giving sports commentary or anything, what would you pick?
I would say telekinesis, of course.
What is telekinesis? You mean like to move things? Is that what, I forgot what the...
Like a Jedi powers, you know?
Yeah, there we go. Jedi.
Yeah.
So we're going to have an AI Jedi at some point. Jet AI would be a good
Jet AI, exactly, yes.
I don't know if it's trademarks. You may want to check that on that. So Ivan, before we get started, I like to have a little fun back and forth, and I want to bust some AI myths. Are you cool with a quick lightning round?
Why not?
Okay, let's go. So you have to say true or false to these, and feel free to give details if you want, but you don't have to. Mm-hmm. Is this true or false? AI always tells the truth.
It's false, yeah. Not always. It tries, though. Tries hard.
It does try.
Yeah.
Is it true that AI has feelings?
No.
Okay. And then last but not least, AI can make school easier.
Definitely.
Okay.
Easier and more fun, more effective, and improve your grades too.
I love that. And students listening, I hope you're at home and I hope you were able to think about those things as well. Think about how many you got right or wrong and be honest. So, Ivan, I want to jump into your whole story of how you started this thing called Buddy AI. Rumor is that you started this because your daughter needed help with English. Is that true? If so, tell me a little bit more about this story.
Yeah, I'm an immigrant. I moved to the US 11 years ago with my previous startup. So we were building a smart speaker before Amazon announced Echo or Google built their home device. And I brought my family with me. So a couple of years later, we sold this previous startup. And at the time, my daughter went to preschool and she struggled to start speaking English for about 4 months. And so she really, wanted to play with other kids. And it was a serious problem for her. We started taking lessons on platforms that connect teachers and students via video conferencing. And that's when I kind of realized that a lot of this work could be done by a talking AI character. And to really democratize it, make it available to hopefully every family. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. And my older daughter, Sophia, she became our first user, first tester. And even now, the vast majority of my teammates have children. And so basically all of us build Buddy for our kids.
Did you all think you were going to have millions of users on this technology when you were thinking of it and building it out?
Yeah, that was a part of the plan, of course.
Oh, well, you're better than
me. Yeah, of course, it's been a dream, right? So I had this dream of giving every child an AI study buddy, like a personal tutor. And I think even with this 50 now over 60 million downloads is actually, we're still barely scratching the surface of this huge problem of global teacher shortage.
Yeah. And quick question, with those downloads, would you say it's a mix of US and international or mostly US? Where are those folks downloading from?
Mostly international. So today, most of our users live in Latin America, but US is still like the largest single country.
That's awesome. I have a quick question to ask you. I know the kids are wondering. Be honest, has Buddy ever corrected your grammar or how you speak to it?
Many times, yeah. I'm an English learner. English is my second language, so yeah, I learned a lot from Buddy.
What is one of the most interesting things Buddy has said to you personally?
Oh, he at some point told me about the origin of my name.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Somehow I never heard anything like that. Yeah.
That is super cool. Like, one, for it to be aware enough and trained in a way that allows you to connect even on name, because name is often associated with language. So that's really interesting. So I want to talk about how Buddy AI worked. How did you even teach a robot to understand kids' voices? I mean, I know me as a human. We were talking about this earlier. I talk fast. Sometimes I mumble. I may talk too loudly, too quietly, or even make up words that are like slang or things that people that's different across cultures and communities.
Mhm.
So how did you teach an AI to understand kids and all the complexity that comes with them as they're learning?
So AI in many ways learns similar to how humans do. So by listening and practicing. So
Yeah.
we made Buddy listen like 25,000 hours of children's speech.
Wow.
And so Buddy heard different children with different ages and with different accents pronounce certain words. So let's say you heard 100 or 1,000 people saying hello. It would really help you to recognize this word. And this is kind of how AI learns. And so we just keep collecting this like speech data and training Buddy to understand language even better. And since we have users like all over the world, it also helps because we have children with different accents.
That is so cool, especially considering the AI, like you said, took all this data. The kids have learned data and they know what that word means. We did like a ABCs of AI, and one of the words is D is for data. So they understand about the data. And that's awesome that you all were able to train that way. A lot of kids know like things like Siri and Alexa recently got like an upgrade. So she's even doing even more than she was before, or it, however we want to call it. Why is Buddy better than a Siri or an Alexa or an OK Google?
So different AI assistants serve different purposes, and Buddy really shines as an AI tutor, AI study buddy, and he really shines in this role. So for example, Buddy has a 3D buddy and he lives in a 3D world, right? So it's a 3D character. He has a 3D hole in his world, and he uses his body and the world around him to play and teach children. So like, for example, as a thing with a body, it can explain this is an arm, this is an eye. Talking about colors, Buddy would change color. Say hat, and Buddy would put on a hat, things like that. So Buddy is much more like embodied compared to just a pure voice assistant or chatbot, and is also much more gamified. And we have a strong team of top mobile game designers from like
Nice.
very famous game design studios working to ensure that. One other thing is that everything that happens with Buddy is organized around a structured curriculum. And so it's not just spending hours just randomly talking to ChatGPT. Playing or learning with Buddy, you have like a structured learning session, different kinds of exercises organized in a specific system to improve learning outcomes.
That's really cool. Like, to your point, Alexa, Siri, OK Google don't have that. Like, I can go and probably say to it, especially with the newer Alexa, I can say, hey, what is this word for this? But it doesn't have the body. It doesn't have the integration, especially for kids. Like, kids at home, I imagine you want to see something that looks more like a tutor versus like talking to a voice. And then I love what you said around having like, if it's talking about colors, it changes. If it has a puts on a hat, it puts on a hat. Like, being able to reinforce the learning by showing different items is super cool. Because of the voices that you've been able to share and a lot of kids interacting with it, I would love to hear anything cool or interesting that Buddy has shared or talked to kids about, anything you've heard in the feedback.
So we thankfully don't know what kids are talking with Buddy about.
Share more about that. Explain why that matters.
As a COPPA-certified product, we built Buddy as a secure and then as safe as possible. So for example, we don't know what Buddy is really talking with like a specific user about. So we don't listen what our users are talking about or don't read the scripts, stuff like that. And the data organized in a way that it's actually very hard to do. So we don't know. But in terms of like feedback, we have a lot of funny and cute comments from children using Buddy on Buddy's YouTube channel or in Buddy's like App Store page, and a lot of nice things, especially with young children. So they may say something like, "Hey Buddy, do you play Roblox?" Or "Hey Buddy, it's Johnny. Thank you for playing with me yesterday."
The Roblox thing hits home because my niece loves Roblox and it's too addicted. That's a conversation for another day. So some of the things you brought up make me think about like safety. And I know you're thinking about safety because you all are indeed COPPA certified. So when you say Buddy is COPPA certified, can you explain what it means without us needing a lawyer and staying away from any boring lawyer words?
Yeah, as you said, you already know what data is, right? Yes. So COPPA certified means in general that we are very careful about the information we collect from our users. Collect, process, and share. So in the context of AI, it means that we only collect voice recordings and speech data to improve Buddy's AI, to train Buddy, and we don't share it with anybody.
Oh, great.
So it always stays within the company, and when we don't need it, we destroy it. Let's say our users stop using Buddy. You can just reach out to us and say, like, please delete all my data. Something like that. The way we treat our users' data defines our compliance.
That's very good. And for listeners, why that also matters is because when you are looking at any AI tech, particularly for kids, and kids, as we talk about, you should be doing things with parents' permission or guardians' permission and with your parents. But a lot of technology companies don't necessarily have to destroy your data or have these different protections that Buddy AI does. I was super excited when I found out they got COPPA certified because these things help make sure, to your point, data is used in a way that only helps make it better, but you can ask them to destroy it, which is very rare. So thank you for talking through that. So some things I also want to talk about is like, especially for students who are like in the classroom thinking about having Buddy as a tutor. I want you all to think about how would you feel about that at home? Would that be awesome? And knowing kids are already doing this and things are changing a lot in the classroom. And I'm wondering how they're feeling about that. And I know you talked about how families are really excited, particularly kids, about just talking to Buddy about everyday things. But the thing I want to dig into is I'm sure parents and students are listening to it and folks are a little nervous. So let's get real a bit. A lot of parents do worry about AI apps, and there has been a lot of scary stories recently in the news related to kids and apps, particularly around chatbots, not necessarily around like teaching apps, but around chatbots for sure. How do you make sure outside of COPPA that Buddy is safe for students and for those who are interacting with it?
Yeah, Amber. So first of all, I think it's a very fair concern as a parent too.
Yeah.
Right. I'm concerned about like when my daughter started talking to like a character AI thing, I was like super concerned. So I believe it is important for everybody, children, parents, and teachers. With kids, we have all of this like age ratings because of a reason, right? So most of AI products and AI chatbots aren't made for children. I think it is very important to only use products that are specifically designed for children. And moreover, I would say use products that have like a very specific purpose. I would say very specific, like educational purpose, but it could also be like an art, for example. But see AI as a tool, not as a toy. So I think it's essential. And when you consider an AI tool, try to understand what's the purpose of this tool. If it's educational, it should have a curriculum. If it's a design or art tool, how it works, what's the main purpose. And I would really recommend use only tools that were built with specific purpose, specifically for children. It may sound boring for kids or something like that. I'm sorry, guys, but I think it's an important note. So how do we ensure Buddy is safe? First of all, Buddy is not another ChatGPT wrapper. So basically, we build whole AI technology kind of in-house. And so we basically control everything.
That's great.
We know how it's used and how data is used and things like that. And it is very important to note that our AI stack, it is like by design less versatile compared to, let's say, ChatGPT.
That's good to know.
But it's much more focused, optimized on this specific learning and fun. So this is what it does. And we don't expect children to discuss politics. Nobody just don't know. He won't be able to talk about it. And that's fine.
Oh, that's great.
So instead of building guardrails around huge models, we just build a smaller, focused, and more optimized model, which is like safer by design because it doesn't have this extra content.
That is really wise. And then kids, I want to say something that you said earlier. Ivan mentioned a wrapper. So what is happening is that a lot of people are taking ChatGPTs, which y'all know about, or these different chatbots, and basically using those models and then either doing extra training or trying to make it fit for their purpose. I love what you're saying, Ivan, because you literally built something that can't do all those things for a good reason. And what we see with the wrappers have trouble holding the model in because they try to make the model fit to this new thing, but then things slip through the crack. Buddy, it can't slip through the cracks because Buddy was built in-house in you all's own AI. That is amazing. Kids, I want you to think about, even as Ivan's talking about this, should you ever give your address to a chatbot, or should you ever give your personal information? I want you all to think about that and talk to your parents about it, because as you're talking to these different tools or what have you, the way I hear Buddy's built, Buddy is not able to give you a lot of different information or what have you. But if you were talking to character AI or chatbot through any of these other tools, you want to make sure that you shouldn't give your address out. That's the right answer to that. And then Ivan, if Buddy were to say something weird, let's just say some mistake happened and somehow something got in there, what should a kid do, or any chatbot, when it says something weird, what should a kid do?
Yeah, I would say that in case a chatbot says something weird, tell your parents and ask them to reach out to company's support. Most probably, I would say 99% was not like intentional. It's just some error, bug or something. And like developers could really use this information to fix it for other users who may not call their parents and report this issue.
That's a good point. And then if you're at school, teachers, same thing. You should definitely be talking to teachers.
Yeah.
Is there anything else around safety that you want to make sure we address?
Teachers and parents, please make sure to check the age rating requirement, and things like that, to make sure the product is good for children.
I'm glad you said that. Can you also tell us the age for Buddy AI?
Yeah, so I would say that our goal is to work with children from 4 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
So most of our users today are under 9.
That makes total sense. My goal is also 4 to 12, so we're aligned.
Yeah.
The other piece I want to say that you brought up, I'm glad you brought it back up, is that a lot of, and this is me making a comment, folks know I don't try to take positions. Even I do a newsletter I send to parents alongside the podcast, and I try not to take a position. But I think the position you just stated on, if a tool was created for adults, and then all of a sudden they have a model for kids, I would question that in a lot of different ways. And I know a lot of parents freaked out a bit when like ChatGPT is talking about that, Grok, Gemini created different tools. I think Google has like an education lens, which is very different to your point, like it should have a curriculum and things like that. But we should all consider when folks are putting tools in front of you kids and for parents and teachers in front of the kids that you're supporting. So thank you so much for that.
Happy that we are aligned on this topic.
I agree 100%. And I know you have big dreams for Buddy, right? Where do you see Buddy in 10 years? Is it teaching in space? Is it running for class president? What is Buddy doing in this future world that we have no idea is going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, every kid's learning Buddy, and maybe like a screen time guide, someone with whom you like pretty much spend your screen time together. I see Buddy growing with children, so like from 3 to 12, changing over time and teaching wide variety of subjects. Think Roblox, but with more educational content, more personalized, and with an AI guide.
I like that you brought in gaming people to help with that, because I think that's a piece that's often missing from education when it comes to like ed tech and those type of things. It's like you're competing with Roblox and you're competing with this world. So how can you ensure that a kid, if they're going to be glued to a screen, at least they're glued to a screen where they're learning versus glued to a screen and then you don't know. Like they're in this metaverse with a whole bunch of people. Not talking bad about Roblox. My niece loves it.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, that's part of the concern. Is like, how do you compete for kids' time when they're glued to screens and make sure they're getting the education they need? And I love that y'all are bringing people from the industry to actually help you all do this.
Yeah, and we have a huge update coming next month. So we will launching this whole like virtual pet like Tamagotchi like experience. So Buddy will live in his customizable home with all kinds of rooms. You can dress him up, feed him, put him to bed and things like that. Garden, zoo, things like that. So even more game design coming soon.
So kids, I don't even know if they would know Tamagotchi, so I'm going to explain it. So when we were young people, I'm assuming Ivan and I are somewhere in the same generation because you said Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we used to have these things called gigapets or Tamagotchis. It's like a circle electronic game that you carried around. It was a virtual pet and you had to feed it, you had to clean up after it, and you had to take care of it. And these things were like all the rage when we were younger. So it's very interesting to bring a version of that onto a screen that even takes it to a different level. Because our version was like basically little digital dots that made a actual pet. We loved that thing. And we tried to feed it and we didn't want it to have a bad outcome. And almost like some parents gave their kids these like virtual pets to make sure they could take care of a real one. So if you don't know what that is, I know your parents do. Ask them to show you in the Google a Tamagotchi or a Gigapet. It's pretty cool. You probably still get one on eBay.
Yeah, but you may play like Talking Tom games, for example, where you care like a virtual cat thing. So like, we have a game designer from that studio designing new experience at Buddy.
That is so cool. So we're going to jump through a few rapid fire questions and say your answers as quickly as possible. Kids at home, feel free to play and say your answers wherever you're listening to this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite snack?
Pistachios.
Oh, I love pistachios. They're so good. And I love pistachio coffee.
Wow. I never taken a note.
A pistachio latte with almond milk. Oh my gosh. It brings joy to my day. What about your dream vacation spot?
Jupiter.
Ooh. Why Jupiter? Sorry, it's supposed to be fast, but I want to know why.
I mean, it's the rings and stuff, right?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Should be probably one of the coolest looking locations in the solar system.
That's so true. And when we get to space travel, hopefully we all get closer to it.
Yeah.
Favorite robot from a movie?
I have this Optimus Prime Transformers right here.
Ah, yes. Number one robot.
Big Transformers fan.
Ivan is holding up his Optimus Prime. Yeah. I love that. That's a really good one. Weirdest word you love?
Weird. The word weird still sounds weird to me as an English learner.
That's a good point. How would you say it in your language?
There is no such word in my language.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. English is weird. And then last but not least, if you could build an AI just for fun, what would it do? And don't say Buddy AI.
Probably be able to translate from a dog language. So I would be able to talk to my pup.
I love that. I would love a translator for animals, dogs, cats, fill in the blank, horses, elephants. The funny thing is, I thought I read somewhere that someone was starting to do that early on and trying to see if they could use AI in that way. So hopefully we see that in our lifetimes, because I imagine the next couple of years it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, Amber, by the way, Google showcased how their AI model is used to build like a translator for dolphins this year in the country.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. If we're able to translate animals' voices, we're probably going to have to all be vegan. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't, I'm already almost on the edge. And I'm like, if I know you're like actually talking, I'm going to be a vegan.
Yeah.
Ivan, what is one thing you want to make sure kids understand about AI?
So I would think that it is essential to remember, guys, that AI characters are not alive and they can't replace relationship with humans, with your friends and family. However, let's not be rude to them. Anyway.
I love that. Anything else you wanted to make sure you share or tell us that's coming up for you?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have a very cool, huge update coming in early November with a new super cool AI model and all of this virtual balls and whistles. Yeah, check it out, but not now, in November.
Awesome. So we'll make sure to add links to Buddy's YouTube, Buddy's App Store, so you all can check that out with your parents. Ivan, I just want to thank you so much for taking time to come in and talk to us. And kids, remember, I love what you said, Ivan. AI is a tool, it's not a toy. It's also not a person. So always use it with an adult or with an adult's permission, depending on how old you are. And always stay curious. Ivan, thank you so much for the time. And we can't wait to see when Buddy AI hits 1 billion users.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us as we explored the fascinating world of artificial intelligence. Don't keep this adventure to yourself. Download it, share it with your friends, and let everyone else in on the fun. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. See you next time on AI for Kids.